It's a good idea to use this window of time to do this very first method and have it ready to go. You're going to have plenty of other stuff that hits on Saturday. And so this is a good moment when you have some additional spare time to get this particular exercise out of the way, all queued up, all done, ready to go so that you can use it right away on Saturday. So this first exercise deals with goal setting. And I hope that you've used goal setting throughout your life because it's one of those things that's been proven again and again and again and again in academic studies to have tremendous value, assuming that you use a very proven form of a goal setting method or exercise. In this course, we're going to use what I think is maybe the most proven and the most gold standard of all of the exercises that have been researched to date scientifically and in the academic and sort of university research system. So this is a very, very well proven exercise. Let's get started. And it's very, very simple to do this exercise. One of the great things about this versus other goal setting exercises is that it asks you to just do one thing. It asks you to just have one single overall outcome-oriented goal. That's it. So you're not generating a list of 100 different goals or 20 different goals or anything like that. We want one goal, one outcome-oriented goal. So when you're done taking the course, what is the one thing that you want to have had happen as a result of that? Now, I think for most people, it's going to be reaching or having fundamental well-being unfold in their life. That might not be the case for you, though. Not everyone, believe it or not, that takes the course is actually after fundamental well-being. Some people just want to increase well-being in their life in general. Some people are trying to get out of, a negative period or sort of a depressed period in their life. There's all sorts of different reasons why people actually take the course. Most people, though, by and large, the number one goal is to achieve fundamental well-being or to have fundamental well-being sort of unfold and occur in their life. So I'm expecting that that's probably your goal as we move forward. But again, if it's not, that's perfectly fine. Whatever it is, you want to just simply take a moment and think through what is the number one outcome that you want for this course? Not what any sub-outcomes are, not what any alternative outcomes are, not a list of your top 2, 3, 4, or 5, the number one outcome that you want from this course. Now, this video is not set up for you to do it in real time, but we are going to be going sort of through the steps in a linear way. So if you'd like to, you can just pause the video at different points and do the exercise. I think it's a better idea if you watch the entire video first and really sort of get an overall sense of what the method involves. And generally speaking, I think that you'll find that's helpful for most of the methods in the course. And then come back through it if you need to for any clarification or understanding, or maybe to do a piece and then pause it and stuff like that. But you'll also notice that on this page are very detailed instructions. Really everything that I say step by step is written on this page below as well. It's very, very important as you go through the course for you to both watch the video and read the written instructions on the page, because they are not the same information. Often the information on the page is a paraphrase of the video, but there are moments where it may include more information or slightly different information than the video does. One of the reasons for that is because as we go forward in time, sometimes we realize that we can clarify one minor point here or one minor point there. It really doesn't make sense to reshoot the entire video just for that. Instead, we can just update the text that's on the page. So for every single one of these videos that you watch, for every page of instruction, every method in the course, you want to make sure that you're doing both things. You want to make sure that you're watching the video and you want to make sure that you're reading the instructions. I think think you'll probably find that it's easiest to watch the video all the way through first, and then to actually do the method by reading through the instructions on the page and sort of following along with the instructions on the page. Okay, so step number 1 for this video is to consider your primary outcome or your primary goal for this program. You want to write that down. You do not want to do these steps just in your head. There is a tremendous power that comes from writing it down. It's almost like your brain is able to see and encode the information in so many different ways. And writing it down, you're engaging your tactile sense, right? You're engaging your actual physical motor muscles in the process of writing it out. And that involves motor planning parts of your brain, as well as the actual motor parts of your brain. You're visually seeing it as you're writing it out, and so it involves the visual system. So you can see that you're basically involving more and more of your senses in the process of writing it out than you are if you just sort of think things out and list it in your head. So we want to make sure that you are physically writing it out. Having said that, it doesn't really matter if you write it out by hand or if you type it out or whatever. However you want to write it out is totally fine, but definitely write these out. So step 1 is to write out your primary outcome goal for the course. Okay, step 2 is to write down one word that would reflect an important way in which your life would be better if you achieved that outcome. So again, step 2 is to write down one word that would reflect an important way in which your life would be better if that outcome goal was achieved. Very, very simple. Just a single word, whatever word most summarizes it. Step 3 is to write down one word that would reflect a significant barrier that stands in the way of achieving your goal. So in step 2, it was a benefit, and in step 3, it's a barrier. And we're going to alternate back and forth. One way to also think about this is in step 2, that first thing that you write down that is a benefit, it should be the most significant benefit. And in step 3, it should be the most significant barrier. And then in step 4, you're going to go back and you're going to write down another single word, so not even a phrase, a single word that would reflect the second most important way in which your life would be better if you achieved that goal. Step 5, as you might imagine, is to write down one word that reflects the second most significant barrier that stands in your way of achieving that goal. So you want to go back and forth between benefit and barrier, and you're only going to do 2 benefits and 2 barriers. So do resist the temptation to go benefit, benefit, barrier, barrier. There is a power to this exercise of alternating between really reflecting and really asking yourself, what is the most significant benefit? And then what is the most potentially serious or difficult barrier? And then what is the second most benefit? And what is the second most difficult barrier? So you want to make sure that you're alternating back and forth. You want to make sure that you're giving these very serious thought. You don't necessarily want to have this just be something that you do off the top of your head. You want to really, really reflect on each one of these and make sure that you're convinced that this really is the most significant or the second most significant for each one of these different things. Okay, after you've done that, you're going to do another 4 steps. And basically what you want to do is elaborate on the benefits and barriers for each one of those things. So for example, for the benefit ones, you want to imagine all of the good things that could flow from having that benefit in your life, and you want to write them down. For the barriers, you want to do something very different. You want to imagine how that obstacle will prevent you from getting to your overall goal, your overall outcome for the course, whatever that is, and you want to think and planned through the steps that you need to take that you think will most help you overcome that barrier. Now, this is an important distinction and difference between these two. And it comes from some major psychology research in the positive psychology field. It turns out that people become happier when they recall and visualize happy memories, but not when they recall and visualize unhappy memories. Now, that actually makes perfect sense, right? Why would you become happier if you were like recalling and reliving negative memories from the past? But it makes perfect sense that you would become happier if you were recalling happier events from the past. So if you spend a couple of minutes doing that, it'll become very obvious that that's true. However, there's kind of a wrinkle with this. So conversely, when people recall negative experiences or negative memories from the past, and they analyze those negative memories, they basically try to, think through them and sort of put them in perspective, they actually get happier. But if you recall a happy memory from the past and you analyze that and you basically try to put that happy memory into perspective, you don't get happier. In fact, you probably get less happy. And so that's what you see reflected in this exercise. Essentially, it's using and kind of drawing on the very established research from positive psychology, from those sort of memory recall and how you get happier types of things, but it's applying it to future events in your life. It's applying it to this future outcome or this future goal. So let's take a look at step 6 for you. Step 6 is to elaborate on your answer to number 2. So you want to imagine all of the benefits that would flow from having that occur in your life, right? So if you remember step 2, it was like the most significant benefit that could happen, like the number one most amazing thing that would result from this occurring in your life. What you really want to do is kind of, take a moment and marinate in that. Really sort of sink in and ask yourself, okay, now that's happened, what are all of the amazing things that have flowed from that? And then step 7, you want to elaborate on your answer to number 3. And remember, number 3 was your primary obstacle, the thing that could most threaten or hinder you achieving your overall goal for the program. And so in this case, you want to really, again, sort of marinate in it, sort of really call up that memory and then think to yourself, okay, or this sort of projected future memory, okay, so I now have a real sense of what that obstacle is. How can I plan my way around that? What steps could I put in place to get around that? As you might guess, step 8 is to elaborate on your answer to number 4, which is your next most positive benefit, right? And write down all of the benefits and all of sort of the elaboration that can go, what will really be the result in your life? How many amazing things will happen in your life if that's true, if that comes true? And step 9 is for you to elaborate on your answer to number 5. And number 5 was the second most potentially dangerous or restrictive or damaging or whatever barrier that could prevent you from making it to your goal. And here again, you want to say, okay, what are the steps that I could come up with? I want to analyze what I could do to overcome and to basically mitigate that actually happening. So a very simple exercise. Again, those steps are summarized below on this page in the course room. Now, let me add one final caveat to this exercise. Remember, you want to do this for your specific outcome goal for the course. If you are one of those people who loves goals and you've done a lot of goal exercises over the course of your life, this is going to be a fantastic exercise for you to use for things for the rest of your life, but later. Not as a part of this course. So for now, during this course, and while you're taking this course, please only use this exercise for your primary outcome goal for this course. If you're the opposite of that, and for whatever reason, you've sort of had maybe I don't know, let's say aversion to goals. Maybe you even have a negative view of goals. Maybe you're like, no, life is not about goals. Life is about flow, and amazing things can happen when you just let things flow. I totally understand that, and I completely appreciate it, and that's certainly a wonderful way to live your life if you'd like. However, for this program, it's still important for you to go through each one of these exercises. So even if this is not an exercise that resonates with you, I'm sure there will be other exercises in the course that also don't resonate with you. Many will resonate with you, maybe some won't. Please do every single one of them. As mentioned, the course is a very precise cocktail, and we're building a very sort of sophisticated psychological environment, one step at a time as you go through it. So you shouldn't skip any of these exercises, even if it's an exercise that for some reason is just not aligned with you, or that you think to yourself, oh, no, I don't care about goals in this case. I just want life to flow, but okay, I understand that exercise, and I've read through it, and I've listened to it now, and I get the gist of it, and I've sort of, got my outcome goal overall in my mind, and that's probably good enough. That's not good enough. We want you to actually do each one of these exercises, regardless of whether it's an exercise that seems to fit with your overall philosophy of life or not. Again, we're building a very sophisticated thing here psychologically. We're putting together a puzzle in your brain, one little puzzle piece at a time, and it's important not to miss any of these. All right, thank you very much. Good luck and enjoy crafting your goals and doing this goal exercise, and I'll see you in the next video.